the answers to life. Right. I have no answers to life whatsoever. You always think that you're going to grow up and you're going to know everything. Well, here I am, almost on the eve of my 74th birthday, asking myself, what shall I do with my life? The only thing I do know is that we're all in the same boat, in the same place. This is from a long time ago. It says, what is my individual light, and where and how should it shine, even though the light is not mine, and I'm only a conduit. So this is from about 4 years ago, when I was going through a lot of change, and I was trying to figure out what my calling is in life. What do I do with myself? You know, like when you see a submarine with that periscope that's looking around, I'm like, what am I? Where am I? What should I be doing? I keep it on my desk as a reminder to myself that I don't always have the answers and I don't always know. And I think when we get really challenged, whether it be through health, relationships, or something that has a lot of emotion attached to it, it's really easy to obsess, or it's really easy to get lost and not to see that there's a whole life outside of it. And we do need to light up and get another perspective. You're probably too young to remember Elizabeth Taylor, but she was the world record holder at one time, and I was giving her a run for her money. I've had 4 formal marriages, and I've had about 4 common law marriages. There's a special word for it. A serial magnonymist. Is that right? Anyway, it's somebody who's very loyal to their partner, but who has a series of partners. And that's what I did. And I had no idea that I was repeating a pattern. I had lots of dramas and lots of stories about why all these relationships didn't work. And it took me until my middle 50s, after a particularly traumatic experience. And whilst I was having this big pity party, and I looked back over my life, I just realized there's a common denominator to all of these, and that common denominator is me. And then I said, if I'm the common denominator, I must stop looking at the circumstances, I must stop looking at the dramas, I must stop blaming other people. I must find out, what is it? Why do I keep repeating a pattern? It was a very painful journey. I had to rewrite a lot of my childhood. It was like pulling out shrubs and brambles and getting cut to shreds and taking what had been a beautiful garden and just throwing it onto a rubbish heap. It was dreadful. I was relentless about it and did it until I put my finger on what it was that I experienced as a child, as a little child, that gave me that created those dots. And once I understood it, I simply unhooked from the pattern like a carriage from a train, and it's gone. The older we get, the more difficult we find it to change. I think that this is a truth. But there's a lot that we can do about changing. And if you're open to it, new perspectives can be born every single day of your life. It doesn't matter what age you are. It really doesn't. I matriculated in 1969, and in 2010, we decided to have a reunion. And it was really amazing. We sat down for a whole weekend and we spent time together. And there was this extraordinary capacity for sharing. And there was this extraordinary capacity for listening and for hearing. When we looked back on our school days, we were just so self-absorbed. We had no idea about the others. We had no idea about how people were suffering at home with severely dysfunctional families that I just didn't know. I didn't know who was hungry. I had no idea. So it was also shocking to understand how self-absorbed some of us had been in our school days. It's very easy to get lost in our own individual worlds and our own individual universes, and to forget that we are actually like the cells of the body, and the body is the body of mankind or humankind. We do need to worry about our own individual health, whether we're talking physical, emotional, intellectual, social, spiritual, it doesn't matter, but we are here to take care of those things. But those things happen within the context of being a part of humankind. This recent space exploration, this moon trip, and the experience of the astronauts going to the far side of the moon and then coming around and seeing Earth from the furthest place that any human eye has ever seen Earth, and seeing it as this small little place in the middle of this space this dark space. That's us. That's our planet. That's where we live. That's our home. It's our home, our collective home. And that's the only thing I'm sure of. The only answer I do have is that we are one people. That's the only thing that I really know. I'm very conscious of being in a new phase. Every phase of life has its own particular gifts and its own particular lessons and learnings that are really, really valuable. And if you're so busy focusing on pretending that you're in that phase of life over there, rather than in this new phase, what are you going to miss about what this phase has to offer? What's different about this time of life is that, be it a week, be it a month, be it a year, be it 10 or even 20 years, I'm very close to my last sunset. It's no longer out there somewhere. What do I wish for between now and the final sunset? I suppose I would wish that I have the wisdom to know what it is that I can best do with the time. And I'm continually exploring that. What should I be doing with my time, and what are the new things that I can do? So I think if there was one word, I hope for wisdom. Not big Solomon-wise wisdom, but the wisdom to find, to stumble into, to discover what is the best that I can do with this time, the best for me and the best for whatever my role is in the bigger picture. Because we all have a role. It doesn't matter how small we are and how insignificant we are. We're all part of a whole. So we all have a role, even if we don't see it. I just hope that whatever it is, that role is, that somehow by some absolute miracle, that I fulfill it, whatever it is. We all are of service to each other in the end.
Thanks for watching our film. Every story we've made is possible thanks to the support of our patrons. And if you'd like to continue to support us to make stories that explore the infinite beauty of being human, sign up on Patreon. Thanks.